This is your weekly DeFi and airdrop news. Tons of news in both departments this week. On the DeFi side of things, we have the SEC issuing a Wells notice to Uniswap, as well as several major Ethereum Layer 2s gaining a ton of deposits over the past week. On the airdrop side, there's several claimable airdrops on Solana now, several updates about ongoing points programs, and then several new points programs that I think could be pretty big. Welcome back to Dynamo DeFi. My name is Patrick. As a reminder, nothing in this video is financial advice. This is solely intended to be informative and educational. Now let's get into the video. Before we get into the news, I want to share that this weekly news segment is sponsored by RabbitX. RabbitX is the Perpetuals DEX built for traders. And what I love about RabbitX, because I was using it even before they reached out to me, is that it offers most of the top tier functionality you would expect from a centralized exchange. You can trade assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and Solana with leverage, but it's DeFi. You can do it straight from your wallet. And on top of that, they have a very high quality mobile application, so you can actually do this from your phone. And I think that that's lacking on a lot of exchanges. So check it out, rabbitx.io, link in the description. All right, so let's get into the news now. On the DeFi side of things, before we talk about the big news, which is Uniswap, let's look at how the overall market is doing. And overall, total value locked in DeFi is actually holding up pretty well, even with a market dip the past few days. It's just under $150 billion as of the time I'm making this video, which for context is roughly where it was in October 2021. So it's actually not that far off from the 2021 peak. And keep in mind, this number includes liquid staking, and there's been a lot of growth in liquid staking over the past few years. So the composition of this is different than it was then. But the total amount in DeFi is similar. As far as which chains are gaining traction over the past week, a few things jump out. Blast is gaining a lot of traction. That's an Ethereum Layer 2. They have an ongoing airdrop points program, already over 86 applications. And then Base really stands out. And I've been focused on Base more and more personally. They have nearly $1.5 billion of TVL now, up 23.6% in the past 7 days and 132% in the past week. And one of the things I like about Base is, first off, they have a thriving ecosystem. They already have hundreds of applications live. Second, I like that it's backed by Coinbase, so I think it could be pretty big. And also I like they don't have a native token. So a lot of times when chains go up in total value locked, it's because the token that the chain is uses as gas is going up in value. But in the case of Base, it's not really that. I mean, there is ETH on the chain, but they don't have their own token. It's mostly from inflows to the chain. Other ecosystems that stand out as doing well are Tone. That's the open network, Telegram's token. Originally it was Telegram, then they legally had to split it off, but it's still closely affiliated with Telegram because Telegram is integrating it into their app. And this network has been on a tear the past couple months, both in terms of price and in terms of total value locked. It's grown from under $100 million total value locked as of February to over $400 million now. And the market cap of this coin itself is already extremely high. It's already $23 billion and currently ranked 10 on CoinGecko as of the time I'm making this. That being said, I actually am pretty interested in looking at altcoins on this network because that's just a ton of money that's basically waiting to flow into opportunities in the ecosystem. And so if I can find a suitable altcoin in this network, then it's definitely something that's on my radar. And one thing I want to note is that the price of this has been going up, but the total value locked has actually been going up faster. What I'm showing here is total value locked in terms of the Tone token, and you can see that that's going up as well. So it's not just the price going up, actually more money from this coin is entering DeFi. Next chain that jumped out to me this week is Merlin. Merlin is already up to over $400 million total value locked. And this is a very new chain, only launching at the end of February. And what exactly is Merlin? Merlin is a Bitcoin Layer 2. And I actually think that Bitcoin DeFi could be one of the breakout trends of the year. Bitcoin has a massive market cap, of course, by far the largest of anything in crypto. And so even if just 1% of BTC entered Bitcoin DeFi, it would make it one of the largest chains for DeFi, second only to Ethereum. And I think that there actually could could be a pretty compelling offer to Bitcoin holders for why they should enter DeFi, because they can use their BTC as collateral to make loans, they can lend it out to earn yield, all on chain, or they can use it in a decentralized exchange for liquidity or to swap for altcoins, other things like that. So I think that this is another pretty good opportunity as well, and definitely something on my radar. Next up, the big news that everyone's talking about. This is from a few hours ago. Uniswap Labs received a Wells notice from the SEC. And what this is the SEC signaling its intention to serve Uniswap with a lawsuit. And what they are alleging is that Uniswap may have offered unregistered securities to the public or failed to register as a broker or exchange. Obviously, as someone who's in the DeFi industry, this isn't ideal, especially when you have Uniswap, one of the most used, most reputable protocols, being targeted, right? This isn't some small scam project. That being said, I have full confidence in the Uniswap team that they will be able to muster the most robust legal defense. The tokens of Uniswap and other DeFi projects are naturally down heavily on this news. Uniswap, as of the time of making this, is down about 12% today. But my hope is that, I think Uniswap will be able to make a strong legal case why they haven't done anything wrong. And then maybe, just maybe, this could actually result in DeFi protocols getting some regulatory clarity. Next news we have is that Athena Labs, the maker of the USDE stablecoin, which is massively fast-growing stablecoin, already over 2 billion stablecoins issued, has onboarded BTC as a backing asset. Now, the thing I would keep in mind here is that this doesn't mean that it's necessarily safe or that it can't depeg, right? You might remember that UST also had a reserve of Bitcoin that they were going to use to stop it from falling. That being said, I know there's a lot of comparisons between this and UST. The mechanism behind this protocol is very different from that one. And so ultimately, I do view this as a positive thing. And I think that, although I have no position in anything related to this, I think that this growth is extremely impressive, right? It's very rare to see a stablecoin take off this quickly. And part of it, what it shows to me, is just the continued demand for stablecoins as a product of crypto and DeFi. You can use them to make transactions and use them for yield. Next, let's talk about some airdrop news, and there's some big ones this week. First off, we have several claimable airdrops now. Wormhole is the first one, claimable since April 5th. The W token, right? We're winning with our Wormhole airdrop. If you've bridged to Solana, honestly, if you've bridged to very many chains at all, highly recommend checking with your wallets, both on Solana, Cosmos, and EVM ecosystems. Check if you're eligible. I was eligible on several wallets that honestly I didn't expect to be, wallets that I rarely use, but I've made bridge transactions on before and received a not insignificant amount from some of those wallets. So definitely recommend checking this one out, even if you're not sure. Next up, you have Tensor. Tensor is the leading NFT marketplace on Solana. Their airdrop is now live, the TNSR token. We've been talking about this on the channel since the summer. Last summer, that is. If you've traded NFTs on Solana, if you've owned a Tensorian, even if you don't totally remember, maybe just check anyways, right? If you've used Solana, because you may be eligible for a Tensor airdrop, and you can claim that over on Jupiter. I'll link this thread in the description. Some airdrops that have not yet become claimable, but that you can still look on the horizon. We have Zeta Markets. Zeta announced their Z token. Isn't this an interesting trend? You've got Wormhole with W, Zeta with Z. I guess people are doing one letter tickers now. Zeta is a perpdex on Solana. They've already facilitated over $4 billion in transactions. And yes, they are launching their token. They're talking about staking and incentives here as well. So may end up being worth something. If you haven't used Zeta Markets yet, then you can, to hopefully qualify for an airdrop. And they have this ongoing Z score program, which is basically a points program. So you kind of have an idea of what your airdrop is going to be worth. You see here the value of points, $1 of trading volume equals 1 Z score. Next up, we have Camino, also on Solana. Camino is the leading lending market on Solana. They've had an ongoing points program for a while now. You can now check your actual ownership by going to app.camino.finance/genesis and entering your wallet address. So if you've been farming Camino, you can now see exactly how many tokens you have earned. And I think this is probably going to become available to claim pretty soon. Next up, Grass, also a Solana project, also a DePIN and AI project. I made a video about them a while back. They are building the data layer of AI, so you could mine it from your browser. Their season 3 of points ended, so if you were farming that, congratulations. You got in on points before they ended. Wouldn't surprise me if we see an announcement from them soon, but again, stay tuned. Other announcement about an ending points program, we have Parcel. Parcel is a perp dex for real estate on Solana. We've been covering it on this channel for a while. Their final points trilogy leaderboard is now live, so you can check how many points you ended up with. They did bonuses for loyalty and also flag certain wallets for ineligible activity. So if you've been farming Parcel, be sure to check just to see what your points are, and you can submit a dispute if you were incorrectly flagged. But that one should be finishing now. All right, so let's talk about some new points programs, right? Because a lot of these ones are already wrapping up. D-Bridge, one of our favorite bridges. You can bridge between Solana, Ethereum, Base, a lot of different major chains. Finally, their points are live, and they actually have retroactive points. So if you've already been using D-Bridge, you already probably have some points here, and this is just for making cross-chain transfers. So at the moment, I'm basically using D-Bridge for as many swaps as I can. There's some other bridges as well that have likely airdrops in the future, but D-Bridge, they have the points program. We know they're probably going to do an airdrop pretty soon. And one thing to note here is that the points are not based on volume. The points are based on fees. So it's actually better to, obviously you don't want to pay too many fees, but insofar as trying to farm it, it's 100 points for every $1 paid in fees. So if you're trying to farm it with activity, keep that in mind, that it's going to be based on fees rather than just raw volume. Another new program is Karak. Karak is a restaking layer, so it's similar to EigenLayer, has some major backers: Coinbase, Lightspeed, Bain Capital, Pantera Capital, and others. They just announced that they raised $48 million at a $1 billion plus valuation, and you can restake through them now. And they also have an ongoing points program called XP. And you need an invite code to start farming. I unfortunately don't have one yet, although I'm sure I'm going to get one soon. But what I recommend doing would just be to look on Karak for invite. Look for a Karak invite code on Twitter, and I'm sure you can find one. Next up, we have Swell. Swell is a liquid staking and restaking platform on Ethereum. They now also have their own L2, and deposits are live pre-launch. And they say here, depositing will get you airdrops from Swell and projects on Swell, a L2, as well as a share of EigenLayer points. And this is, I assume, related to the airdrop. You're earning some sort of points on deposited assets. So check that out, swellnetwork.io. You can start depositing and earning points and qualifying for the Swell airdrop now. Final airdrop news is that EigenLayer announced, EigenLayer, one of the largest projects in DeFi, has announced that their EigenLayer and EigenDA mainnet launch is coming soon. And they do reference here in the announcement a DAO. They reference the LRT DAO that will manage delegations, and with a DAO typically comes a token. So although doesn't explicitly say that there's an Eigen token or LRT token or whatever they're going to call the token here, I would say that is probably likely to come sooner than later. So congratulations if you've been farming this. Hopefully not a preemptive congratulations. And if you want more updates about DeFi news, airdrop strategies, and more, be sure to check out my newsletter, dynamodefi.substack.com. Send it out every week with more information, on-chain analysis, farms, and tools to help you with your crypto research. And for more videos like this one, be sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, this is Dynamo DeFi.